you have to take in meeting the doctors and what the doctors want in these COVID times. He will be taking a series of these measures and points. For the first half an hour, we will keep everyone muted. So if you have any questions during his presentation, please type those questions in the chat box. And post that is done, we will be opening up the flow to questions. So one by one, people can ask the questions by unmuting themselves. But we would request two people not to speak at once because it turns chaotic. As Dr. Agarwal said, he is the past president of the Indian Medical Association. He is the current president of the Confederation of Medical Association of Asia and Oceania. He is one of the leading authorities on in the country. You might have seen him all across social media and all across various TV channels, etc. And he has over 1 million people who watch him daily in terms of COVID, and he's managing various COVID patients. So all his experience is there for you to enjoy right now. So I leave it to Dr. Agarwal to begin the program. Thank you.
So thank you, Nilesh, and thank you everybody for being here. The very fact there are more than 256 people here, it shows us the importance of the subject. And it shows us what is the concern of everybody regarding, everybody wants to know about COVID and their interaction in the pharma industry. I'm going to be talking about basically a patient-doctor, a pharma-doctor relationship in the COVID era, in the pre and post-COVID era. But charity begins at home. The first thing is every pharma person wants to know that I don't want to get COVID infection. So first of all, charity begins at home. So each one of you want that you should not get a COVID infection. Therefore, we need to talk about two things. Am I at risk? Is my environment at risk? So all of you who are sitting here need to calculate your risk. Am I likely to get infection or not? Means if your age is more than 65, then you are at risk. If you have uncontrolled diabetes, blood pressure, heart failure, asthma, you are at risk. And if you have an underlying, you are on chemotherapy or immunosuppression, you are at risk. Otherwise, you are not at risk. Then you will calculate what is the risk of mine when I am in my house. That means, do I have people more than 65 in my house or not? And do I have people who are having high-risk comorbid conditions? The second thing is when you interact with doctors, you need to calculate how do I go to my doctors? Do I go in a car? Do I travel in a metro? Do I travel in a scooter? Then you will calculate what is my risk in a car? What is my risk in a rented car? What is the risk if I am having a driver? The third thing is you will calculate is what is my risk in my profession. So in my pharma office, when I go, what is my risk? And fourth thing is if I interact with doctors, what is my risk? So when you are interacting with the doctors, you are invariably going to a healthcare setup. Your chances of acquiring infection are 10 to 14%. That means if you travel to a hospital or to a clinic, and if you are interacting with doctors in a place, there are chances, 10 to 14% chances of acquiring an infection. Therefore, I need to reduce my risk. Therefore, I need to reduce my risk. So when you go to a hospital, you need to reduce your risk. So my first portion is what is my risk? What is my professional risk? How do I reduce my risk? So if you want to reduce your risk, the answer is double masking. Double masking means a mask with a face shield. You use a mask because you are going into a healthcare industry. Simple one ply, single ply mask will not do. Simple cotton mask will not do. You have to have a 3-layered mask, which is called as a non-medical fabric mask, which you need to use if you are ending up into any healthcare facility interacting with healthcare people. So therefore, if you are visiting healthcare industry, take it for granted you are at the same risk as that of a doctor, nurses out there. But when you are going to a doctor, you need not wear personal protective equipment. That's not required, because I got a query that I want to visit a doctor. Should I visit a personal protective equipment? The answer is no. The only thing you require is a N95 mask, and that's it, and gloves. And if you are using a N95 mask or a medical mask, you can also wear a simple face shield and go and meet the doctors. Number two, will doctors meet you? Second question is, will doctors meet you? Because now the concern comes is doctor will start asking, this medical person, this pharma person is coming to me, is he a risk to me? Because you will be visiting, say, 20 doctors in a day. When you are meeting 20 doctors in a day, you are carrying that 20 times risk when you meet a doctor. When a doctor meets a patient, he is coming from his home. He is not meeting multiple people. But when you visit a doctor, if you have visited 19 people already, then you are visiting me, then you are a high risk. And in that situation, doctor will say that I may get an infection. So that will be a concern of the doctor now. Up till now, you were concerned, but when you are sitting with the doctor will say, I hope you are not carrying an infection to me. Number two, when you bring a literature, the doctor will say, you are not bringing a virus with it. That will be a concern. Remember, there are two types of papers, porous and non-porous. Porous papers are low GSM, 30, 40, 60 GSM papers are porous, like newsprint. Newsprint is porous, therefore, in a porous paper, the virus would die. But in a non-porous paper, the paper which you submit to the doctors as a leave-alone literature, you need to carry it in such a way that it does not carry the viruses with it. Therefore, you have to carry it in a plastic bag and take the paper out and give it to him and take back the plastic sheet. Then only doctors will take it. Otherwise, doctors would feel that you may be carrying an infection with you. Third thing is, when you are carrying anything with you, yes, say for example, bags, hospital may not allow you. Hospital may not allow you, or the clinics may not allow you to bring a bag. So now the time will come, everybody will come with a simple iPad, and they will be required to sterilize their iPad at the entry and then enter to the doctor's room. So that will be a concern of, so there is a concern of a representative or a pharma person, am I at risk? Second is doctor is saying, am I at risk? Third comes is, whatever you are leaving, the literature, the gifts, whatever you are leaving, are they risky or not? Will the doctors accept it or not? That will be the third question which comes is. The fourth question which comes is in everybody's mind is that, will you be able to launch your products with doctors present face-to-face? Now, face-to-face meeting is not allowed. Now, when you are going to a doctor, suppose the doctor is sitting here, never sit in front of him, because that will be face-to-face meeting. Face-to-face meeting can spread infection to either way. So always sit on his side or this side. So if you are sitting a side to-face meeting, it is much more safer. It is much more safer than two people sitting face-to-face. Okay, suppose you end up that I want to organize a conference of 20 people, because 50 people marriages and 25 people in cremation are allowed. That means a gathering of 25 people is going to be allowed. I presume that, because government is allowing that 50 people can collect together for a meeting, for a marriage, and 25 people for a cremation. So therefore, now the guidelines will come, how many people can have a meeting. Suppose you say that you want to invite 10 doctors for a meeting or 20 doctors for a meeting, and those meetings have to follow social distancing. That means you cannot have a big round. You can have all the people sitting on the side on one side. If there is a round table, all of them can be sitting on one side and watching in front, which is fine. Or if everybody is facing in the front, it's fine. But face-to-face meeting will not be acceptable and will not be allowed. Now everybody will start about, so what? The COVID is going. The answer is no. Everybody will start talking about that COVID is only a 1 month or a 2 month or a 3 month problem. The answer is no. Let me tell you how. This COVID had gone from Italy after it affected 50% people of that particular area. In US, in China, it went away from Wuhan after affecting a large percentage of people. And then in US, it has gone away from New York after affecting 25% of people. Now in Delhi, it is on the peak. The peak may go away in 1 month, but the peak may come back in November. Peak may come back next year. Till 60 to 70% of the people are infected with this virus, the peak will stay, the cases will stay. So you may find this month Delhi, next month Rajasthan, next month UP. So the problem will continue at least for a couple of years. I expect at least 3 to 4 years, the trouble will continue. So therefore, your guidelines and your everything has to continue for at least 3 to 4 years with that. The next comes is, will there be a principle of telemedicine? Yes. Telemarketing, telemedicine, tele-information will be the future. We at IJCP, which is a medical publication house, and Heartcare Foundation of India, which is my NGO, we started organizing telemedicine conferences right when the initial part of lockdown was there on 22nd of March. And we saw an attendance of, we did it with Eris Pharmaceuticals, and the attendance was mind-boggling. 20,000 doctors participated. In the very first telemedicine unit, we had 20,000 doctors participated. I am doing a social shows every day. I am doing a lecture for public every day. Today I did the 77th lecture, which is a 1 hour lecture from 2:30 to 3:30. The attendance is every day 1 million. 1 million people participate on various social platforms. People, approximately 2 million per week in Facebook and 2 million per week in YouTube or extra one where I talk to them on various questions of COVID. So today, telemedicine has been accepted by the doctors as well as by the public. Everybody today is looking for a telemedicine, which is easier. So therefore, telemedicine is going to be the future in conferences. I don't think so major conferences will take here this year. I don't think so. None of the major conferences will take place this year. And if they don't take place this year, pharmaceutical will taste a different pattern of organizing conferences. Maybe that future of conferences in India may be over. I don't know, but maybe, because now, up till now, you used to have 10,000 people attending a conference in Gynae or 20,000 people attending. Now you will get 100,000 doctors attending or 100,000 people attending from all over the world. Now your conferences will not stay only for India or a particular place. Now everything will be open for the whole world with that. Another thing which is important for a pharmaceutical industry to look into that is that doctors are now COVID. Now the time for the pharma to talk to the doctors is non-COVID. You might have forgotten in the last 6 months, all other medicine minus COVID. So this is the time for us to interact. Now, if you come to a doctor for interaction, I want to talk about COVID, he says, forget it, I'm tired. And if you come back and say, I'm coming back to you, that what's new, what you have lost in knowledge in the last 6 months about non-COVID, he says, come out and tell me in brief. Tell me in brief, in 2 minutes each, 3 minutes each, people will come back to you. And that's what IGCP is doing and organizing a series of conferences from all over the world, and people from all over the world are now participating. We are talking to them about forgotten medicine, about non-COVID participation. Now it's an opportunity for India to lead. It's an opportunity for India to lead. We have the maximum number of patients, we have the maximum data, but we are not visible in the world. We are not visible in the world. We need Indian literature of Indian patients to be projected all over the world. So we need to analyze their data. We need to analyze their experiences. We at IJCP are publishing those data, special data, but all pharmaceuticals should ask their doctors to collect the data of 10 patients, 20 patients, 30 patients, and we collaboratively can join and build up that data and make them publish in an international literature. Today, everybody is looking for data on Indian data on COVID. I'll give you three things. That today there was a fear of COVID. All of us were that, oh my God, a COVID has come, and lockdown, lock down the RWA, lock down the house, all gone. Now, number of cases we are seeing in Delhi, we have seen this virus is not a killer virus at all. Number of cases, the example comes from Wuhan. In Wuhan, 6 cases came and they tested 65 lakh cases and picked up 200 asymptomatic cases. And they said for every 1 case, there are 33 asymptomatic cases. In that situation, multiply number of cases in your state, multiply it by 33. That will be the real situation of COVID. Therefore, and if you compare to that with mortality, mortality is very, very, very low. And we have now identified triggers of mortality. We at Confederation of Medical Association of Asia Oceania, Heartcare Foundation of India, and IJCP have been able to detect the triggers that at the time on 5th, 6th, and 7th day, if you can detect hypoxia in time, you will not die. B, at the time of diagnosis, if your ESR, CRP is and lymphocytes are normal, you are not going to become serious. C, if you have a loss of taste and loss of smell, it's not serious. Welcome it with that. Then today, if you see the telemedicine guidelines, the government, rightly or wrongly, has done a mistake. And the guideline says doctors can practice on platforms like WhatsApp, Google. So they are all trade names. So up till now, government policy was doctor will not talk about the trade name in a conference. But when the government itself is writing about trade names in the telemedicine guidelines, it means doctors are allowed to speak about the trade name in a conference with the word like. So if tomorrow I want to talk about a product, I can say use this like this company. This government itself has endorsed it, because there was hue and cry every time doctors used to say that I cannot take the name of a brand. But now it is with the new if you go back to the telemedicine guidelines, they say that platforms like, and all those likes are trade names. They are brands. So therefore, a new scenario now will come that tele-promotion now will be more of a lectures and other things where doctors can directly talk about giving an example, like so and so, like so and so. Another thing is now there is going to be a lot of scope about immunity. Everybody is looking for immunity. So every pharmaceutical company will come back, because every time a doctor goes, you go to a doctor, he'll say, tell me what immunity product you have. The only question a doctor is going to talk is, do you have a good immunity product which has all the features? And this is something which is the need of the hour. This is the number one question everybody is going to ask. They are not going to ask, do you have have you got any new immunity product? Tell me what immunity product you have. Will it build up? Will it prevent? Will it prevent? Will it prevent? Another thing they will talk about is Stress. Every doctor, specifically the younger doctors, are in stress. They will need a lot of mental counseling. They will need a lot of programs in mental stress for doctors. They are tired and they are in number one stress. Another thing is that gifts are prohibited under the Medical Council of India Act. But in a COVID era, PPE is not a gift. It is an essential item. It is a necessity. Therefore, if pharmaceuticals are gifting PPEs to doctors for their personal use to prevent themselves, this is the job of a pharmaceutical doing a job of the doctors. So instead of going to a doctor I'm bringing you this gift, you say I'm giving you this PPE kit. And this PPE kits also will change. It will change. You say I'm giving you a box of gloves, a box of shoe covers, a box of head covers, a box of sanitizers. The gifting will change. So all those electronic items and every gifting will now change towards PPE kits. Prevention of prevention, prevention, and prevention. Doctors' preventions, everybody's prevention, that will shift as far as this is concerned. Another thing which doctors want is they want to know what next. They want to know what next after COVID-19, what next. So they want to have seminars now on what disease may come. Another disease may come. Now they don't want to be left that, oh my God, what is this disease? We don't know. So they want to talk about what more is the possibility. Will Nipah come in India? Will Ebola come in India? So doctors are now going to talk to you about what next. Don't tell me about your product. Tell me what new disease is likely to come in India. Okay, so doctors are going to talk about innate immunity. They are going to talk about what next with that. And then no camps will take place now. I don't think so now patients camp will take place, because in a camp you cannot maintain a 6 meters distance. So those camps where patients come, but yes, if you want to do hemoglobin A1C camps and other camps, they may still happen, but number of cases will go down. Now the camps will be more sophisticated. Now you will say we did a camp of 20 people, not 200 people. Now everybody will be given half an hour, social distance will be maintained. So the pattern of camps will also change. So the pattern of camps will also change with that. So online CME will increase, online webinar will increase, online conferences will increase, digital marketing will increase, and social media will increase. Now, when we talk about online conferences, we have recently organized 3 conferences. Now we are planning to organize the 4th one on 1st of July. Total conference, 8 hours conference, only telemedicine. And every time the doctors are sitting from their home. So no lunches, no dinners, no breakfast. If you want to have an entertainment in the evening, you can have an entertainment, live entertainment on your platform. So everything is going to change. And now people don't have to come and they want to listen to one lecture in the conference and they have to spend 2 hours in coming and going, nothing doing. Whatever you want to listen, you listen. Now people don't have to require that I need a permission to present. I need a permission. I need a sanction to travel. Everything is now number of conferences attended by medical profession will increase. Medical residents will join more. All your untapped people, Ayush, healthcare workers, nurses, they all can be incorporated now in one seminar. Now your question of 50 people seminar, 100 people seminar will go away. Every seminar now will be that we are making it open to YouTube. You will say, we are organizing a seminar here for 50 people. It will be also telecast on a YouTube. Anybody who wants to watch, they can watch. Now, again, thing will change is all KOLs will become common. Now, if you have a KOL who is speaking, his lecture will be available on YouTube. So KOLs now will become, their talk will be available all over the world. All over the world. So what I'm basically talking about is the scenario is going to change. The scenario is changing and is going to change, and it is going to change for the good. We will have less pollution. We will have less expenses. We will have less conference expenditures. There will be more science, more awareness. Say, for example, if you want to meet your 50 doctors in a day, suppose you want to meet 50 doctors in a day, and which is impossible. You don't meet more than 8 doctors. And here it is possible. You give all your doctors, you go that I will be there at 12:30 to 1. I'll make you interact with all the doctors and I will also speak. See, every doctor of that colony, of that, suppose there is a doctor in an area and you are meeting 10 doctors in that area. And now you will say, I'll get you connected to all 10 of them together. Give me 5 minutes for my talk. You are interacting with them. So you are creating them a social structure. You are giving them a academic structure, everything. So charity begins at home. We need to protect ourselves. We need to protect ourselves. We need to make sure that our doctors are protected. We need to see that our family is protected, and we need to see that our profession is protected. All those guidelines will change. The pattern will change. The pattern will change. I particularly feel there will be a better and more relationship of a pharma with a doctor, because the objection so far has been that doctors are being sponsored for their travel. That will go away. In Zoom or in any meeting, there is no travel involved with that. In any way, for the next 3 years, nobody will go to, nobody will travel to ships, because people will be afraid of, they will be quarantined. Nobody will go for an international travels. People will be avoiding national travels for the next 1 or 2 years. So there is no question of sponsoring a travel, which people used to say that pharma are soliciting doctors travel. Whether right or wrong, at this particular moment, most of the conferences will take place on a social platform media with that. So with that, I will open it for question answers for half an hour to 1 hour. I wanted to basically say the scenario is going to change. We have 675 people who have joined. Imagine 675 pharma interacting. That's only possible because of COVID. And this is going to be the future. This is going to be the future. And if all of you want, because we have the data, we will do once a month program with you, and we will call all possible KOLs here. We will have 10 top KOLs here interacting with all of you. With that, what do the industry changes? And that's what the strength of COVID is. So should we fear him or thank him? What is the question of saying, oh my God, what you have done? I says, oh my God, 675, 678 people participating. And now it has crossed to 676. Oh my God. The number is increasing. I won't be surprised if it crosses 1,000 people participating in this. So I'll pick up anybody who has a question, kindly put it on the chat. I will read out from the chat, and I will invite that person who is in the chat who can unmute himself and talk it over with that.
I think it's better that I will ask you the questions that are
Yes.
on the chat.
Nilesh,
so one by one, I'll take these questions.
Yes.
So one is, don't you think that there are too many webinars happening and it's not working for doctors and they're getting irritated with it? What is your view on that?
I know. So what is required is proper message which is going. If your message is going to be the same, people are not going to. If our people are going to have the same message again and again, people will not. The number of people attending will go on reducing. But still, it is the need of the hour. Remember, pharma is used to have 20 people seminars. I mean, you basically have 20 people, 40 people seminar. You will always get an attendance much more than that.
Yes, and I absolutely agree with that, because all the smaller CMEs that happen of 20, 25 doctors, if all the invited doctors come, it's a success. But even if you do an online CME and even 200 doctors come, it's still 10 times more. So if you do one per week, it gets you a lot of audience. Number two, for developing social structure, do you think the jobs of medical representatives will be redundant?
No, I don't think so. It will be redundant. Medical representatives are a part of the society. They will continue. They will be a part of, they will be the conduit between not only the company and the doctors, but also the doctor with the doctors. They will be a conduit. Their participation will increase. Now they cannot say doctor was not available. They cannot say I waited for the doctor for 3 hours, because when they are waiting for a doctor for 3 hours, they can connect to the next doctor sitting there because they are in their phone. So their workload will increase, and I think their participation will increase in the industry and in the relationship. For example, I am sitting in a doctor's chamber. Suppose I'm sitting here, I'm opening the doctor's chamber, he's busy, I'll go to next. But the same thing, if I have to go physically, it takes 2 hours. So normally I would say I visited 8 doctors, only 2 I could get. Now I should be able to get all the 8 doctors, because I may change my timings, my travel time is gone. So I don't think so the MR's job will go away. I don't think so. That they will strengthen, then will increase.
Okay, this is an immunity question. Do Indian spices help preventing COVID infection? Why are Indian people more handling COVID better?
Those who have little bit knowledge of Ayurveda, and I will explain it. In Ayurveda, there are 3 types of personalities: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. The thin people, medium people, and a thick people. Now, this virus is a secretory virus. This virus does not walk, run, fly, or multiply outside the body. Therefore, this virus only can enter a body where it finds secretions. Therefore, nose, mouth, and eyes. It cannot come through my sweat. It cannot enter my ear and go inside. So it cannot enter my urinary tract or a fecal area. It can only go through these 3 areas. This virus, being a watery virus, anything which reduces water in my body, that is anything which is bitter, astringent, and pungent taste. So all salts. See, now why chloroquine is so effective? Bitter, because of its bitter taste. Anything which is bitter, astringent, and pungent will dry out and kill the virus. And anything which is sweet, like chawanprash, shahad, amla, and sour, will reduce its multiplication. So therefore now the immunity structures will change. Your immunity products will be a modern medicine project and a plant product, nutraceutical together. You will give a package. All pharmaceuticals companies now will go, I want to give a herbal package and a multi-medicine package. This is a multivitamin, and this is a polyherbal product as a immunity booster, as a package, 1 tablet this, 1 tablet that. That is going to be the future.
Coming back
another feature is going to be nasal wash and throat wash. That means gargling. Lots of products will come on gargling, and you gargle out, and herbal and non-herbal and nasal wash. These 2 will be the future. Yes.
Sticking to immunity, a lot of people are asking about vitamin C and zinc.
Yes, vitamin C is very important, specifically in a high dose. Zinc is important because it is antiviral. Zinc is inside the cell. It increases the T cell and B cell immunity, and it intensifies the work of hydroxychloroquine. Vitamin D is also very essential, and therefore a combination of C, D, and zinc is important. So now every company who has a multivitamin will start looking of how much C should be there, how much D should be there, how much zinc should be there. They will start adding that. That will be the future with that.
Next is, since we're having an allergic season, people are always sneezing or coughing and having cold. So how do we differentiate this from COVID?
So at this moment, there was a definition called influenza-like illness. Now we are talking about corona-like illness. So corona-like illness means if you have a low-grade fever, 98, 99, With that, you have a cough-like symptoms. With or without, in 15%, you may have nasal discharge, but no hoarseness of voice. That is spared. Hoarseness of voice is spared. And if you have loss of taste, loss of smell, diarrhea, or abdominal symptoms, it is COVID and nothing else. At this moment, either you are COVID or a COVID-like illness. That word influenza-like illness is out.
One person is saying that I think it's better if we remove the leave behind literature that we gave and supplement, and instead of that, give WhatsApp messages, because people can just quickly read WhatsApp messages and save that. So the paper causes cluttering, so it's better. So what is your opinion on that?
Paper will continue because books will continue, and the literature also will continue because people are still not used to digital at all, but that will reduce. And then you have to make sure that whatever you are giving is sanitized. So the number of print literature will go down compared to a digital material, but I cannot say that will become zero. I don't think so. The doctor's prescription will go away. Another thing which doctors want, which you will be do as a service is, so when the patient comes to me with so many files, I need it to be sterilized. So doctors are looking for a mechanism that there is something lying here, you put the papers here, the file gets sterilized, you come back, whether it is UV light, infrared rays. These are the things which doctors are looking for. Again, it is for patient's protection. It will not be called as a gift because this is the job of the government to provide. Yes.
Okay, this is an interesting question. So when I was going out, I was wearing a surgical cap and mask, but because of sweating in the uncovered area of the face, this sweat came into my mouth. So is it risky? Can it cause COVID?
So let us understand this thing. There are a couple of types of mask. Surgical mask. Surgical mask. So there are a couple of types of mask. There are two types of mask: medical mask and fabric mask. We are a healthcare industry sitting here. So we don't want to talk about a gamcha wala mask, which Modi ji has said. That is for public. We are not interested here in the public type of a mask. We want to protect ourselves. When we want to protect ourselves, either we use a surgical mask. Now, surgical mask will have 3 layers: outer layer and an inner layer. Outer layer has to be that when my secretions come, it should fall down. So it has to be water repellent. So it has to be nylon. It has to be hydrophobic, so the water doesn't touch it. Inside, because my mouth is, my secretion must get absorbed here. I don't want it to spoil my shirt. So outside, it should be water repellent. Inside has to be water absorbing, and in between it has to be a filter. Okay, now these are layers: 1 layer, 2nd layer, 3rd layer, and these are layers. Okay, and then inside the layers has to be facing upward so that my secretions stay here, and outside has to be facing down so that whatever comes here falls down on the surface. And on the top, there has to be an area where I can fix my nose so that I can enact it, so that I can do that. I'll show you one more thing. I'll show you one more thing if I get it. Now you are now going for a call. You are going for a call, and you end up into a bus or a metro, and there you find people are coughing. Now you want a double protection. Okay, so take this 3-layered, this is a rubber band. Take this rubber band here, put it here, and these 2 rubber bands in your ears. Now this becomes absolutely, it becomes airtight. Air doesn't leak. So you can convert your non-airtight mask into an airtight if you end up into an emergency situation where there is a large number of aerosol procedures going on. Now, many of you may be in a industry of interventional field. Suppose you are selling a orthopedic implant, you may have to go to the OT. You may have to go to the cath lab, and there are aerosol procedures going on. There you may have to absolutely wear the same thing which the doctors are wearing. So these masks are important, but you need to protect yourself. Nilesh.
Okay. The next is again, if the marketing people are asking and the sales people are asking also, whenever we go and meet the doctors, what are the main precautions? I mean, you said about the masking, but what other precautions do we have to take right from entering the doctor's clinic to sitting in the waiting room? Does the AC make a difference? All these things.
So number one is that your waiting period with the doctor should be minimum. In any way, for the next 6 months, you will be meeting them on a electronic media. Now, even if you go to a doctor's room, there is something called as a contact time. The contact time is if you interact with a doctor for less than 10 minutes, both of you are risk-free. If you interact with a doctor for more than 30 minutes, you are at risk. So whatever you plan, suppose you have to meet a doctor, your interaction time should be less than 10 minutes. Okay, because you're going to meet multiple doctors, you should not meet any doctor more than 10 minutes. That is yes.
What is the role of an AC in terms of COVID?
When it comes to air conditioned, in a central AC, you are at risk. In a central closed environment, you are at risk. Number two, now I am sitting here, okay, and the AC is in my back. In that situation, you are not going to sit in front of me because the AC air will take my viruses and give it to you. So the position of AC is very, very, very important. The air of the AC should not be coming on your face. You are most likely to get infections. So therefore, in a hospital atmosphere, wear a mask and wear a shield and then go.
A lot of people are asking about the difference between if they should wear N95 masks, and also how long does the mask last, and can they wash it, can they iron it, how many times do they have to buy it?
There are 3 types of mask available for you. One type of a mask you will wear when you go to a healthcare setting, N95, or a surgical mask. Second type of a mask you will wear when you go to a market to buy something with your family. There you use a fabric mask, 3-layered fabric mask. The third type of a mask is important is when you are entering home, you are now a doctor. You are a high risk. So as soon as you enter home, you will enter to your washroom, take your clothes out, put it into water, take a bath, come out. And at your home, if you find you have anybody who is elderly or diabetic or hypertensive, you will wear a mask in front of them, a fabric mask in front of them.
Okay. Now, a lot of people are asking if we go out on the field or if we, go to office, should we always have a bath after coming home?
Yes, I've just answered that.
And what about when you come home? You should leave your shoes outside? And
now the time has come for the next promotion will be gloving and shoe covers. Now shoe covers are going to be more and more of a market now. Wherever you enter, either you use a shoe cover or take your shoes outside wherever, whether it is your home, somebody's home, nobody will allow you to enter with shoes.
Okay, and next question is about the role of hydroxychloroquine, doxycycline, ivermectin, all these 3 regarding all the new studies that have come, and even the new remdesivir.
So all healthcare workers, all of you are a healthcare workers, can take hydroxychloroquine 2 per week for prevention. Okay, because government has said all healthcare workers and all those who are in field are healthcare workers. Number 1. Number 2 is ivermectin and ivermectin is a safe medicine because it is harmless, it can be given. Doxycycline and azithromycin, there is a fight. Which medicine is better? Now the time has come to find out bacterial drugs which has antiviral properties. Before that, you must understand how this virus behaves. This virus behaves like a virus. Therefore, lymphocyte count is high and it goes by itself. In some cases, it is behaving like a bacteria, increases polymorph counts, and antibacterials are effective. In some cases, it is causing immune inflammation, high ESR, CRP, and ferritin, where hydroxychloroquine becomes important. In some cases, it is causing thromboinflammation with rise in fibrinogen and D-dimer, where anticoagulation becomes important. In some cases, it is causing hypoxia, therefore low oxygen, therefore oxygen therapy becomes important. That will be another thing. Every doctor now will need an oxygen concentrator and a portable oxygen in their offices. No doctor now will work, no house will be there without a oximeter and without a oxygen cylinder or a oxygen concentrator in their places. Very few patients will get a cytokine crisis where IL-6 inhibitors will come and play a role. Now, when a patient gets hypoxia, which usually happens on 5th, 6th, or 7th day, low SpO2 levels, that triggers everything. Remdesivir has a special role at that particular moment. 3 companies are producing Remdesivir, but I'm sure many companies might be thinking of biosimilars. And I'm sure biosimilars will come in India, which will have a Remdesivir-like action, and that is going to become a routine. Yes.
Okay, next question is, for all these webinars and online conferences, can we give honorarium to the speakers and to the attendees?
As per MCI rules and regulations, under a contract, any honorarium can be given. Any honorarium can be given, yes.
What about the attendees?
There are honorariums defined. See, you are buying the time of a doctor. If you are launching a product, you are buying the time of a doctor. You can pay honorarium. That if the law is not here today, it will get clarified.
Okay, Mr. Nitin Naite is asking how to connect with intensivists for a critical care company.
How to contact intensivists? They are the one who will be looking forward to you, because this is the time for intensivist seminars. Connect to them. Now we are created a platform. We have created a platform. Under that platform, suppose I organize a conference. In the conference, there will be virtual stalls. Suppose there are 100 stalls in that platform. You enter that platform. In that platform, there will be a virtual stall where your person will be sitting. You can talk to him, you can show him video, you can chat with him, you can give him samples. Suppose I'm entering your stall. You want to give samples. So you will go into my box and it will be delivered to your house. So whatever is happening in the conference will happen in a, we have already made that platform where stalls can be, we can have multiple stalls. Everything which happens in a conference, we have created a platform and that will be available. Whether it is for intensivists, whether it is for anybody else.
Okay, the next question is how many times should I use a sanitizer when I'm out on the field or when I go to office?
So say at this moment I'm sitting, okay, I'm touching my table, but I'm cleaning it 3 times a day. I don't need to use a sanitizer because my surface is clean. If my surface is not clean, I need to use a sanitizer. Sanitizer can be a soap and water, or sanitizer can be a simple 60% alcohol-based sanitizer, which can be made at home. Now remember something. Remember, people here, remember the formula of Suman K, SUMANK, which should be promoted by everybody at your residence to your children. Now, this is in Hindi. So those who don't understand Hindi can ask somebody else to translate. So S for Seedha, U for Ulta, M for Mutti, A for Angutha, N for Nakhon, K for Kalai. 20 seconds. Your hands wash is done. Teach everybody as much as possible. Suman K, Suman K, the 20 seconds hand wash. Wherever you get an opportunity, do it.
Sanitizing shoes with sodium hydrochloride before entering home. Will that be?
The Eris Pharmaceutical has come out with a couple of things. They have made an arrangement with some people about chlorine dioxide, which if you put it into a room in water, it will produce gas and desanitize the whole clinic. The future is going to be where doctors are looking for, how do I sanitize my clinic in the evening every day? So if there is a way that when I go out in the evening, closing my clinic, in 2 hours, my room gets, my whole clinic gets desanitized. That's what doctors are looking for. We have no solution at the moment. But
yes. Can the pharmaceutical industry, on behalf of the doctors, get their clinics sanitized? Is that allowed?
I said in this era, COVID has given us different types of opportunities. In the COVID era, everything is allowed because you are working in the interest of the people. Post-COVID era, we don't know. This era will last for 2 or 3 years. If you are sanitizing the doctor's room, you are doing it for a cause. You are doing government's job. I don't think so. You are giving a technology, educating people, subsidizing cost. Personally, I think that's allowed.
Okay, as per the UCPMP guidelines, which the pharmaceutical companies have to adhere to, brands are not allowed to promote on social media. So how do we promote through social media? Can we do a patient education campaign and then link that campaign to our website where the brands are mentioned?
I've already given an answer, like. So add the word like, as Government of India said, like WhatsApp, like Google. So you also add them like this much. You say release in public interest, makers of, that's allowed. If you are writing a brand, you say makers of.
What about if we do a patient education, say, poster which goes on social media, and below that we write under a public education grant from XYZ pharmaceutical company who are the makers of this? Is that allowed?
Makers of this, I think it is allowed because the government has now opened this type of a thing by writing that like WhatsApp. I think so. The scenario is going to change. I'm only trying to say is the scenario is going to change. This is the time for us to change. The policies will change. Telemedicine guidelines have come. These telemedicine guidelines will take away all the Medical Council of India rules and regulations. Because telemedicine now the government doesn't allow me to practice in outside my state. But in telemedicine, I can practice anywhere in the world. I don't have to close my clinic. Wherever I am, I can run my clinic. The whole scenario is changing. Now, now it will be everything will be different.
How can the pharmaceutical companies partner specifically with telemedicine players? Can they enroll the doctors that they meet onto the telemedicine platforms? Is there any way they can help enroll more doctors?
See, telepharmacy, telepharmacy and e-pharmacy, e-conferences, everything will change. Everything will change. With telemedicine guidelines, everything will change. At this moment, anything which is in COVID interest is allowed.
Okay.
And once it is allowed forever.
Okay. One person is asking specifically for dermatology, how to reach out to dermatology clinics, because obviously a lot of dermatologists are doing telemedicine now. So how can they engage with dermatologists specifically?
See, remember, the difficulty here will be people who are 65 plus. They will be working from their home. All doctors who are 65 plus, they will be working from their home. But all who are 65 minus and not high risk, they will be going to the clinics, whatever you do. I don't think so that all doctors who are 65 minus and not having a comorbid conditions, they will not stop their clinic. They may run for 4 hours See, remember, there are certain things written in the telemedicine guidelines. The government has clearly said that if the patient does not want a telemedicine guidelines, you cannot insist. You will have to see the person in person. See, telemedicine is not a mandatory. A patient can tell you that if you are practicing in a clinic, patient says, I want in person, you cannot say no. So therefore, in-person consultations has to come. The doctor may say 4-hour telemedicine to 4-hour non-telemedicine. That may happen. But this cannot happen that the clinics will close. Second, if the patient needs a consultation to be seen, so in a telemedicine, you cannot see the with a clarity, you can follow up. The skin lesion with a clarity, you will not be able to see on a social platform. So invariably, doctors will sit for less time, more telemedicine, but clinics will not be closed.
Okay. In terms of email marketing, how much email marketing should a company or a marketing person be able to do? Should they do it on their own? Is consent required of the doctor? Should they use other platforms like MedTalks or Email in Access? Or what about email marketing? Does it make a difference? Do doctors read an email and see the brands and remember them? What is the thing
It
about
all depends upon your relationship with your doctor. Otherwise, he will take it as a junk. If your relationship is there with a doctor and if you give a personal name into it, if it is a general junk, hey, dear doctor, then he will be get irritated. But if he says, dear Dr. KK Agarwal, and the person who is writing is known to me, that's okay. So personalized emails are okay, but not junk emails. But you can see the opportunity will come is, as Nilesh was saying, we have a eMed in Access, we have a eMed in News newspaper, where in that newspaper, if you are putting an ad, things will be different than giving them a emailer only about a reminder of your product, because that will be taken as a junk.
Okay. The next question is, a majority of specialists are not willing to meet us because of the lack of confidence. So there is no productive discussions, and even digitally, they're not that willing to come and meet us because they already have their webinars and so many other things going on. So we are not being able to get any FaceTime with the doctors. How do we improve that?
Therefore, you will have to build relationship with your doctor. Therefore, that casual meetings will be over. You will have to now build up relationship with your doctor, and by that time, whatever time you spend with a doctor, that you will have to procure that. And for that, the best answer, what we have found a solution is, and what we are offering to the doctors is, suppose you have a product XYZ. So every week when I go to a doctor, so I go with him with a literature of 30 seconds in the form of a video. And I tell my doctor, hey doc, I've come here just to show you this 30 seconds video. And that 30-second video carries a message of CME as well as your product. And you say, thank you, you come back. The 30 seconds he will not mind. So if you want to talk about theory, may not be, but 30 seconds, so in MedTalks, we are now creating a 1-minute videos for public and for doctors. So those types of a video, if you can take it in your phone, you can show it to the doctor and say, just watch this 30 seconds of 1 minute. They will watch because they will find something interesting there.
Okay. Then in terms of visiting the chemist, what are the precautions and what are the risk factors?
Chemists are high risk. Chemists are highest risk because patients are coming there. Chemists are highest risk. If the chemist is deep inside the shop, that means there is a grocery shop, there is a general shop, and then the chemist, highest risk. Cashier of a chemist, highest risk. So you will have to take care whenever you are meeting a chemist, make sure that you are totally protected yourself. Unless the chemist says we all are cured of corona. That means they already have developed corona and now they are cured.
So once you get corona, can you get it again?
No. Remember that 50% of us sitting here are going to get corona and going to get cured. And once you are cured, if your chemist is cured, he will write down, I am a corona cured patient, don't worry. Because now the time has come, more number of patients have cured.
Is there any role of povidone iodine in prophylaxis?
Yes, the recent studies have come and they say oral rinsing and nasal rinsing, specifically for healthcare industry, if they wash their mouth orally or they put a povidone ointment in their nose, it works. It prevents. And also if you have a viral load, it reduces. So you can do, that's the reason Modi ji said gargles, you do saline gargles, you do garlic gargles, you do haldi gargles. So Ayurveda now is coming because no modern medicine companies promoting modern medicine gargles, the whole field is now shifting towards Ayurveda. Unfortunately, no medicine, because we have so many, we have hydrogen peroxide, we have chlorhexidine, we have povidone iodine, but no, we have saline, nobody is promoting it. So everything now is shifting towards Ayurveda, that we have the best gargles. But yes, povidone iodine, yes.
A lot of pharmacists are prescribing medicines without prescriptions these days because of COVID. How can this be tackled?
No comment on this particular thing, because it is in the interest of the society. Doctors are writing on telephone, go and buy these medicines. So at this moment specifically, I know it is not allowed, but it is a perpetuous problem. Yesterday, Dr. MC Mishra was on one of the TV shows, and he said, I went to a doctor, a chemist, I didn't tell who am I, and I asked him hydroxychloroquine, and he gave. So this is something which is a legal matter, a perpetuous problem. Let's not talk about that.
Okay. A lot of people are asking about the vaccine. What is your opinion on the vaccine? When can it come?
So let me clarify what a vaccine is. This is a virus. Suppose I am a virus. So I am then RNA. I am wearing a trouser, banyan. So this is envelope. This is membrane. I'm wearing a shirt that's envelope. I'm having these buttons. These are the spikes. So I am now sitting here as a virus. So if I want to use a vaccine, I can use a killed vaccine. I can kill the vaccine and use it as a stimulant. That is called killed vaccine. Second is I can paralyze the virus. That is called attenuated virus by heating, by chemicals, by radiation. The virus is there. It is not killed, but it doesn't function. That is called attenuated virus vaccine. Third is I used any component of the virus to make a vaccine. So I can use RNA, so RNA vaccine. I can use the envelope vaccine. I can use the membrane vaccine, or I can use the spike as a spike vaccine. Or I can take another virus and exchange their buttons. So I add this spike to that virus and convert it into a vaccine. So these are hybrid vaccines which we prepare with that. Or I can use an adjuvant to stimulate one portion of the vaccine these are called adjuvant vaccines with that. So there are different types of processes of vaccines are available, or I can create a messenger RNA vaccine. At this moment, two vaccines are functioning. One is Moderna, who is working on messenger RNA, which is not using the virus, but a virus-like particle, and the Oxford, which is using a adenochick virus vaccine, where they are putting the spike of this protein and adding into that virus. Like we grow the rose trees, where we take one kali and put it into the kali of other, that phenomena they are using. Now there are only two vaccines which are likely to come. Now they are in phase 2, then they will go into phase 3, then manufacturing process. So all of those companies are taking a big calculated commercial risk. So they are going to phase 2 and production at the same time. That if phase 2 is successful, their production is ready. But if phase 2 and phase 3 trials fail, then their investment in production will go away. That's about the vaccine for that. But will this vaccine work? We don't know. The reason being, this virus is behaving 7 different ways. Whether this vaccine will prevent all 7 complications, we do not know. Whether this vaccine will be single dose, 2 dose, or 3 dose, we don't know. Whether this vaccine will last only for a year like a flu vaccine, we don't know. Whether this vaccine will behave like an HIV and never come, we don't know, because it has HIV-like properties. So at this moment in vaccine, big question mark all the times.
Next is in terms of KOL engagement, since, as you know, every company has their selected list of KOLs who they do activities for. What are the kind of initiatives this year that will be in the COVID era, which will be more? Is it some PR articles? Is it news articles?
Yes.
Is it
KOL
social media?
KOL engagement will increase. because they need not go for a travel. They can speak out anytime. Their participation will increase much more. If they were taking one lecture in a week, now they can take one lecture every day. So KOL engagement will increase and international interactions will increase with these KOLs. Now one KOL from India, one from US, and these types of interactions will increase.
But so this is KOL engagement for towards doctors. What about featuring, I mean, KOLs coming in the news and on social media platforms? Can the pharmaceutical industry help in
Again,
widening the reach?
only if they have an agreement with a pharmaceutical can promote their social profile only if they are in agreement with them. Otherwise, it will be considered as a gift.
No,
If
so
a
I was
KOL
talking
is
about
their
like
advisor, I'm coming. If
yeah,
a KOL, say for example, I have a social presence of 1 million people every day. If I want to interact with a KOL, if I want to interact with a KOL and he gets a presence into 1 million people, yes, pharmaceutical can facilitate that.
because what I was talking about was in the last 1 year, we at IGCP have been doing a lot of Facebook Live. So I mean, as a medical education company, we have created our own social media handles, which are supported by an educational grant from the pharma industry, where a lot of KOLs are featured. So I think a lot of these activities can really pick up now, and specifically also for all these online news channels and TV channels and print media and digital media, where KOLs need to be featured. And another thing that I was thinking was in terms of associations. So all the national medical associations and the sub association that we have, they all are not an authority in the media. So if we, along with partnering with the pharma industry, can sort of look at getting these guys to be more prominent amongst the general public. I mean, everyone and the doctors knows them, but the general public doesn't know. And as of now, for the general public to know about these associations is equally, if not more important. So I think that there's a huge scope for collaboration with them.
I only have to say is that if you feel that this session was useful, we will like to organize, you can put your comments. We will send you, we have your email addresses, we'll send you a personalized letter. Maybe we may like to interact with you once in a month. And this group can become a very big group over a period of time, because charity begins at home. Our job will be to make sure all of you are healthy and happy. So we can do a lot of talks so that all of us are happy, because now we are talking about even the oath, medical oath has changed, that doctors have been asked to look after themselves. So I'm saying pharmaceutical need to look after themselves, to look after their family, reduce the stress level. We would like to organize such events once in a month with all of you. And this number can go to thousands, and all over the world people can come. This can become a very good source. And every time we can bring few KOLs who can interact with all of you. Nilesh.
A couple more questions I'm going to take. One is, since in the pharma industry, a lot of people have to travel. So what are the travel precautions, whether it's by airplane or by train or by car? And when they stay in hotels, what are the precautions they would take in hotels?
Yes, when you're going for a travel, if you're sitting in a taxi, high risk. So we are double masking, mask with the shielding, because you cannot maintain a distance of 6 feet. If you are going in a metro, yes, there is a higher risk, because people who are standing will be less than 6 feet, so double masking. If you are going in a bus and if you are sitting all in front, watching in front and not side, it's okay. If you're going by travel, buy the corner, don't buy the oil seat, buy either the middle seat or the window seat, which is much more better. So either you take the front seats or the back seats, so that you don't mix up with people. Try to reach early. In an airport is more riskier than the flight. Spend least time in the airport. Carry your own sanitizers with you as much as possible, and wear a N95 mask when you are in travel. In an airport, make sure you spend least time, because that's closed and AC, and that carries a lot of infections for that. Don't do any buying from the airports. From the airport, you don't buy anything, because that's a high risk atmosphere. Remember, in India, more number of cases developed corona from Dubai airport than they developed it in Dubai and came back to India. Because Dubai airport is a luxury airport, unlikely to get cleaned all the times, and totally AC and closed atmosphere. Now I'll tell you one simple thing. If I cough here, If I cough here, my cough will go with a speed of 38 kilometers per hour. And if I do 10 coughing here, my whole area of 150 square feet will be full of the virus. And that's what happens in an airport. In an airport, if somebody is coughing, everything gets infected. So it is always better in the airport that you are wearing a double masking.
Should doctors provide stipulated times for MRs per week from the companies that they make?
It's a relationship, nothing else. You can't force a doctor. They are in fear as on today. So it's a mutually relationship which you have to build up. It can't be, you can't force a doctor, doctor can't force you.
What kind of digital media can influence or will be appreciated by the doctors? Which pharma companies can follow to showcase their?
At this moment, doctors are looking for visibility as a pan-India, pan-world level. Pan-world level. Say, for example, in my social platform today, as on today, I have 6.5 lakh followers. So every doctor would like to look for how many followers he have in social media. So which is fine. So that's how, because now the followers, I am no more a Delhi doctor. I'm available all over the world. I'm no more a Delhi doctor. No, I'm no more a South Delhi or a Central Delhi doctor. I'm available to anybody. Anybody can consult me from all over the world. That scenario has changed.
The thing we were talking about yesterday of the 9 days after which you first show symptoms, I think everyone should know about this. The video that went viral yesterday.
After?
That video that you said.
The video, there are a couple of videos which have gone viral of mine. One of them is that you start lying on your abdomen. If you lie on your abdomen, if you get COVID, you are less likely to suffer complications. So sleep on your abdomen, that's one. And number two is on 9th day, after you get the first symptom, the virus becomes non-infectious. So therefore, after 9 days, if you have come in contact with a corona patient and he is post 9th day, doesn't matter, nothing is going to happen.
Okay, I'm just seeing if we have any more. Obviously,
I think what we'll do is, Nilesh, you at random, you pick up 5 people, one from each page, and ask how did they like it. No questions. Did they like the interaction? Would they like to have it another time, once in a month?
Ritu, can you please do that?
I'll ask one question. Shajan Gherwar. Every page I'll pick up one person and ask them, did you like this? Would you like this to happen again more and more?
Ritu will have to unmute.
No, they can unmute themselves.
No, Ritu has blocked it. Ritu has to unmute.
Ritu, can you unmute one person in each page and ask them to give a comment at random? And you speak out their name. Ritu? Or you give me or you give me the co-host.
So you are co-host.
Then Subrat Kumar Dey. Subrata Kumar Dey. Yes, you are. I am making you unmute. Yes, you can speak. Subrata Kumar Dey. He is not speaking, so I'll pick up somebody else. I'll say Sunil Motankar. You'll have to unmute yourself, Sunil ji. I think this is not working, and anybody who wants to speak can unmute himself and just speak out for a couple of minutes so that we can close.
Hello.
Yes, Srinivas.
Hello.
Yes, please speak out.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, introduce yourself and speak.
Sir, myself Virendra Pulshetty, sir. I am Zonal Manager for Apex Limited.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Doctor, for a wonderful session. Hello.
Anybody else?
Myself Hemant Sharma.
Yes.
from Win Medicare. It's been quite informative. Which gives us a lot of insight regarding day-to-day, our field workings and all precautions to be taken. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. From Ghana is here. Our international. Somebody from Ghana is here.
Sir, I would like to speak.
Yes.
Dr. Agrawal, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Please continue this session, sir, in future.
Agrawal, sir, I am Venkatesh Divanji from Karnataka.
Hello.
Yes, go
Hello,
ahead.
I am Venkatesh Divanji from Karnataka. I am a zonal manager in Cetro Pharmaceutical.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you for the insight of this professional tips you have given to us. And we were thinking that the chemist counter was it is highly risky. That you have told to us, it is an eye opener to us. We were thinking that was we were ignoring that instruction. So thanks for the tips.
Remember that most of the studies, maximum virus is present on pharmacies floors.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were not aware of that. Thanks for the tips.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good evening,
Hello.
sir. Myself, Shankar More. Hello, sir.
Good evening, sir. Myself, Naresh.
Hello, Dr. K.K. Agrawal, sir.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
And I'm muting everybody. Then pick up one person who wants to speak, raise hands, and I will allow him.
Hello, sir. I'm Shankar.
Yes, yes.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, Shankar.
Sir, very good interaction, sir. This is a very good. I learned a lot of this.
Thank you, Shankar.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Kumar. Chandra Kumar.
Sir, good evening, sir. This is Naresh.
Yes, Naresh.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for information, sir. It is a good informative, sir. This is Naresh Apex Laboratories from Medipatnam, Hyderabad, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So, thank you, everybody. I will like to say all those who are elder to me, Charan Sparsh, who are younger to me, I bless them. And who are of my age, I say namaste to all of you. And I congratulate Nilesh Agarwal for initiating this. And I think we will continue our interaction at least once in a month. Thank you very much for being here and interacting.
Thank you, sir.
Kindly pass on the information to as many, even if you have learning, even if you have learned one new thing, pass it on to others.
This session has also been made live on YouTube on Dr. Agrawal's YouTube page, so you can find it there for your colleagues who couldn't.
Okay.
So youtube.com/drkk Agarwal, you can see it live, you can take it, and you can go to that YouTube page, you can like that YouTube page, and you can forward this to everybody in the country. So thank you for we have more than 800 people who participated. I withhold it and say thank you to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.